Hello, fellow ACE 103 students. This is C. Michael Miller coming to you live from Erie County Technical School. This morning I would like to talk to you about some of the Google tools available, and more specifically, the Google Forms tool. And to get us started with, I'm using a recording program today known as APowerSoft. You can see it on the screen in front of you. It is an online, web-based screen recorder. So it's going to help us navigate Google Forms. And so let us begin. So simply log into your Google account, which I have done here as so. And of course, we're going to go down to the Google Forms. So in your Google Tools, let's find Google Forms. And we'll do some scrolling here this morning. Hopefully everybody's comfortable scrolling with Forms or with your web browsers. And we're going to look for Google Forms. So looking through all the lists, you can see there's quite an extensive list of tools here. We're going to go to Google Forms. And it looks something like this. All right. Google Forms, as its name alludes to, is basically similar to anytime you need to make a form for things. There's a lot of pre-made templates here. So like, for example, if you wanted soliciting contact information or getting signed up for things. But we're going to do a blank form from scratch. You can see I made one earlier just to make sure it would work. So I'm going to click on blank here. When you do, you get, it's pretty simple, easy to navigate. And so I'm going to entitle my form Course Survey. One of the things I do in my class is I want to solicit information from my students to make sure I am teaching effectively, or at least they are receiving the information correctly. And so name your form, and then basically down below you're going to add each question. You notice there's different types of questions you can do. One of the nice things about Google too is it kind of has a little bit of smart business intelligence. And so one of my first questions I like to ask is, on a scale of 1 to 5, where 1 is the best and 5 is the worst, rate yourself on, in this case I'm going to use telecommunication terminology. Apparently I can't spell telecommunication this morning. You noticed, hopefully, as I was writing the question, Google already kind of figured out what kind of question it was and has converted it to a 1 to 5 based question. I didn't have to go over here and simply change it from the multiple choice that it was originally. You can label things, you can make, is the question required, so on and so forth. So I'm going to make this question required. You can duplicate a question, so maybe it's the same scale, maybe I have a couple questions that way, or I can add another question. So this question I'm going to ask is, what is, and you can see I can have all kinds of things. I'm going to make this one what is the best skill you have learned from this course? And I'm going to notice, once again, Google automatically kind of figured out where I'm going with this. I'm going to make it required. It's pretty easy to navigate Google Forms, and you have all kinds of options here. Once you have your survey all kind of compiled, up here in the top right you have, of course, your make it look pretty options. You can preview your survey, and of course the different settings. So obviously if you want to collect stuff, if you want certain security settings, you want them to only submit once and be done, so on and so forth. All right, oops. And finally over here you have, you have your send button, where you can of course send it to their student's email, and they can fill out the form and get back to you. So hopefully this is very informative. I know I personally like to collect information like this using electronic. It is anonymous a lot of times to the students, or they can do it and they don't feel pressured into trying to write a response when their classmates are sitting nearby. So hopefully that was very informative, and I thank you for listening.